Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, checking in on the sector. So we had a good day out there for the bulls. We got the dip that we were anticipating. If we had a bad reaction on APHA, we were looking for CGC to give us a dip buying opportunity first thing this morning. Unfortunately, the market makers were a bit slow right out of the gate. My market order sat there for a while, but eventually I got filled just under 23, sold on the way up, did a couple trades on the way down, and a couple things happened here. So a couple things that were not your most likely scenario. And when you get experience with trading and you do it for years and years and years, you see setups where you say, okay, this is the most likely scenario. I've seen it play out 1,000 times. So on this move, when you go 4% on CGC and you pull back hard, the most likely scenario, and I would say 4 out of 5 times, you're going to see the low of the day hold and a 5-minute equilibrium be the result. So to go straight from a 4% move, more than that from the low of the day, 5% plus move to the high of the day, and then to give it all back and dump like that, 7% move and give it all back in 10 minutes, that is unusual. So at that point, normally the bears have control of the morning. But we dumped down, bounced, and then had a 5-minute uptrend. And in this scenario, normally, with the size of the move from the high of the day to the low of the day, a pullback of 9+%, that's when we look for a 15-minute equilibrium to take place. Looked like our lower high was going to be set here, and that is where it got unusual because we saw a 10-minute pullback and then just a V-shaped rocket to a new high of the day. Then the SPY correlation kicked in, and I have been noting personally that the correlation to the S&P 500 the last few days has been more significant than in the last few weeks. What does that mean? Why? In my opinion, it probably has to do with increased volume, increased big players trading it, and increased bot activity and algo activity with correlations to the broader market from these traders. Look at SPY in the background and CGC in the foreground. And look at yesterday. They are extremely correlated in my opinion. They change, correlations always change. And you can see here, CGC held on better at the end of the day than SPY did, but we dumped at the same time, we bounced at the same time. Very similar multiple days in a row. Keep an eye on that because I expect that to continue. So in the end, the bulls are fine. Hourly higher low trying to form here at 22.97. Bulls want to break 24.44 first thing to keep this move going. Uptrend still intact. Increasing bull volume, follow through on the bull break on the weekly time frame. Cureleaf, lead USMJ player, has now changed its weekly trend change as well. Lead Canadian name, lead US name, both changing their weekly trends. And all of this while APHA had a bearish reaction to earnings. So again, why did we anticipate that the bulls would be just fine even if we had a bearish reaction to APHA? Reason is the notable sentiment shift on social media, the notable bull volume the last few days, that pattern, the last 3 days that I highlighted last video of the bulls showing up at 10:30 a.m., that very similar trading style 3 days in a row, all of that led me to believe that the big boys have placed their bets and they are betting bullish from here. And that is what today led me to believe as well. So APHA is an hourly tightening range. Bulls need to hold 487 tomorrow. There's a potential play off that support first thing. If we hold 487, we have an hourly equilibrium. High of day, low of day, lower high at 526, trying for a higher low at 487. And we are up after hours on OGI earnings. Not much, not up much at all, but APHA is up 2%. Not a whole lot on the bid. But we know the OGI earnings reaction is not going to be a bearish overhang on the sector. Cron, significant bull move, increasing bull volume, 796 and 805. Key resistances on watch tomorrow. have to break those levels. If we fail to break those levels, we'll look for an hourly higher low compared to 705 to keep the bulls in control. That will be our hourly guide. Cron bulls easily in control of the hourly uptrend right now and trying to catch up to CGC, who has already broken these resistances on its chart. ACB, nice bull move with everybody else, but it's in a daily downtrend. 188 is resistance. Anything under 188 is a daily lower high. If we break that level, it's great. Creates nice space off of the low, but we still need the daily trend change to have a confident shift. TLRY, this is what we want to see in the sector if we're bullish. We want the weakest name down at all-time lows to explode off the bottom. This is sending notice to sector bears. This ain't what you're used to. You're not going to have it as easy anymore. And this is the most significant 2-day bull move on TLRY in months. So for that to happen on the weakest name, it only makes the bulls on the stronger names more confident. OGI didn't really participate today as bulls appeared a bit timid with earnings after hours, but big old bull reaction. 266 would put us up, breaking a whole bunch of resistances. 287 and 315 are the most important levels, but at least it's shaking the downward trend and squeezing some shorts along the way. So again, our weakest names are showing some strength. Hexo key resistance is 168. Anything under that's a daily lower high, but we are creating enough space to look for a daily higher low once we do top out. CTST, daily higher low is established at 101. Nice little bull break, and now we're going to look for a daily lower high compared to 134, as that is still 20% away. But at least the bulls have shifted momentum from consolidation back in their favor. VFF, big upper wick. Again, it's a red flag. It definitely stands out to give back that much of this move when the sector is on fire. Yes, it's still an hourly uptrend, but so many names performing way better over the last week of trading. VFF is probably down around the lowest bottom of the list for green in the last 3-4 trading days. Hourly higher low, bulls need to hold 535. Trying to do so. If we lose the hourly uptrend, daily lower high will have been set. Labs, nice increase in volume. 418 key resistance is approaching. Trying to change the weekly trend if 418 breaks a little higher low and higher high. After 418, we look up to 547 as the most important resistance. But a very nice recovery from that daily consolidation. Key test tomorrow, 418. VLNS, V-shaped recovery to higher highs. And continuing its weekly trend change bull break. VLNS is my leader in the extraction space for its weekly uptrend. CGC, lead Canadian MJ bull for its weekly trend change. Curaleaf, lead US MJ bull for its weekly trend change. Hourly higher low on VLNS, 359. So that's the Canadian MJ sector. Nice to see the bulls getting their mojo back and some significant dip buying. There was very notable downward pressure on CGC on that dump this morning. And the bulls could not, for the life of them, shift any momentum. I traded a tiny little bounce here from 23.15 to 23.35, but could just see by watching the bid and the ask. And that's another thing where experience and time gets to be on your side, where I know what it's like to watch the bid and the ask of CGC, and I can tell when there's a lot of extra selling pressure into the bid. And even here, once we hit the low of the day, it took a while for any shift in momentum. We just traded sideways. So very impressive. It's almost like everybody that was going to sell sold on this drop right here, and then there were just no sellers left. And the bulls continued their move. So tomorrow, bulls want to break the high of today first thing, ideally, to continue their strength and follow through. CGC dip buyers have shown up 4 days in a row on morning weakness. So we'll keep an eye out for that as well. When we lose hourly uptrends, everybody in the sector, most names will be looking for daily higher lows to form, but the hourly uptrends for most are still intact at this point. And we'll see if APHA gives us a bottom fishing play off the low of today, tomorrow for that equilibrium. Now on to the US names. IIPR, let's start with Curaleaf, the sector leader. So Cureleaf increasing bull volume and the weekly trend change. Great sign for the bulls. This is the first weekly trend change since the top in April, which is the same thing that CGC is doing. Certainly correlated to a degree, not tight tick for tick correlated, but the reason that we're seeing these weekly trend changes together, it's not a coincidence in my opinion. So next resistance, 1084. We are extended on the daily chart, absolutely. But when we lose the hourly uptrend, we'll just be looking for a daily higher low. 920 is support. And no sign of a loss of that uptrend just yet. Keeping an eye out for a short-term climax soon. Couple gap up opens. And keeping in mind that we have seen over the last 5 days almost 28%. But it's all about that hourly uptrend as our guide. IIPR, nice follow through, inching closer and closer to 87.20. Same thing, we'll need a daily higher low sooner rather than later, but bulls have plenty of space to work with there. Hourly uptrend is the guide. CVSI, the honorable mention from yesterday, highlighted it over the weekend for members just because I liked this setup. Seen it so many times in the small cap MJ space now. Bull volume spike, bull break of 107. And now we're looking up at 134 as the momentum is attempting to shift. C-Web trying to fend off the daily bear flag. I'm still watching this daily exponential resistance, which has been resistance for almost 2 months at this point. Have to get over these levels to create space off of the all-time low. TRUL, this is a bit of a red flag with the amount of sector strength that we've seen. I would have anticipated a break of 14 by now and more follow through off this base. Yes, we are still holding this base of support, but to see the sector run the last few days and to not participate is not a good sign. Bulls want to see a break of 1371 to try and get some bounce follow through and see an equilibrium continue to tighten up. CL, also red flag. Again, just nothing from the bulls, and when you're seeing the sector as strong as it has been recently, it's a red flag if your name is not doing anything. 726, trying to form a higher low at 745, but no real follow through off of that level at this point. GTII 1286 broke, so that's a good sign. And we'll look for a daily higher low whenever we do top out. 1359 has to break for a weekly trend change to join the other lead bulls in the sector. Harv, daily lower high is set at 418, and now we're looking back at 354. Again, not participating, increasing bear volume. So one by one, we're starting to be able to distinguish these names are stronger, these names are weaker, and giving us some potential little red flags. IAN, still up looking at 216. If we lose the hourly uptrend without breaking 216, daily equilibrium will be on watch. If we break 216, we look at weekly resistance, 245. So congrats again to the bulls. Let's see if we can get one more day of strength. S&P 500 is up a bit after hours. Again, watch that SPY correlation. It is notable for CGC. And I hope you have a good rest of your Tuesday. Do good things.
It's a party. It's a bird party.